Hey! What's up?
Hello.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to Pascal Pod. I am Catrina, also known as Katrina.
And I am Rachel, also known as Rachel Leishman.
Wow! From the Berry Zoo. I can't believe it. We're back for episode 2.
From the Marys.
Yeah, you know what? You've got plenty of claims to fame? Claims to fame. But as you can see, my brain is still kind of revving up for the coming week. So, it's all a process, folks. I wrote down an actual a professional intro, but I'm just gonna shoot it, and we're gonna see how it works. We're a bi-weekly podcast show broadcast all about the I wanted to say filmography of Pedro Pascal. And we just go through all of his movies and TV shows, and we talk about the people who helped make them, the stories behind the scenes, and the stories from them that we love the most. Did that work? Is that pro?
Yeah. I mean, I would also take it if Pedro Pascal was like, I'm going to become a musician and have a discography.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Hop to it.
Llewyn Davis, too. He makes a friend, and they start a band. Finally.
And they're sad together.
They're just sad together.
There's cats.
Sad buddies with cats.
And then instead of Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen shows up at the end.
Yes, exactly.
Spoilers for Inside Llewyn Davis. Bob Dylan shows up at the end.
Just in case you haven't seen it yet, please do. Please go watch it. Great movie. So this week is going to be super fun. We've got some news to discuss. We're going to discuss a topic that I quite love. I'm very privy to the show, and I like it very much. But before we do, hi, what's up, Rachel? How have you been?
Oh, so existing in a bubble where it hasn't felt like 2 weeks, but has also felt like a month and a half.
Yeah, I don't know how to
recorded.
Yeah, I think we were putting the show together, and I just had to stop and go how much time has passed? What is time? It feels like it's been a month since our last show, but it's been 2 weeks. But it also feels like it's been a second.
Yeah, it's listen, I'm at the point, I've always been at this point in quarantine where I just am buying things I don't need. I bought a printer so that I could make new phone backgrounds because sorry for the listeners, but I'll hold up my phone. I made my cell phone case, which is a bunch of different pictures of things I enjoy, and it got wet. So Ben Wyatt, the ink ran. So I said, I want new ones. And I didn't put Grogu on there. I don't know what was wrong with me. And so I was like, I guess I'm going to buy a printer so I can do this. And I did. I don't know why. And I bought a shirt that says Silver Spring should have been on Rumors. I'm just in a hole of buying things I don't need.
Yeah. Every couple of weeks I get there. I'm just I won't spend money, and I don't for a little while. And then 2 weeks later, I just ordered a new shelf for my room because I decided I wanted to move some things around. Just change the scenery around here. So, yeah.
Listen, we're all getting there. How are you? How have you been? How has the 2 weeks treated you?
It's been super busy. We announced another game at work, which was super fun. It's called Mask Maker. It's for all of our friends who love VR stuff. It's been, I've been working, and I've been researching for the show, which is super fun. And getting lots of writing done somehow.
Listen, we'll all come out with a King Lear. We all joked at the beginning of quarantine that Shakespeare wrote King Lear during the plague because he had nothing else to do. But we'll all have our own King Lears. Mine might just be me writing King Lear, copying and pasting, but we'll all get there in some capacity, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like everyone's at that point where it's just okay, we're about to go into this new phase of quarantine creativity, and I welcome it. We need it.
You mean when you hit the year mark and then you're what if we made a podcast based on Pedro Pascal? child filmography because that's all you've watched for.
Exactly. And you know what? It worked out so well for us. So I hope everyone else gets that.
This was my long-winded ploy to get people to talk to me about Narcos, even though I am, almost 4 years late?
Yeah. And I mean, like, we don't even have Narcos on the schedule yet. So
I'm playing the long game.
Yeah. So one day we're going to have done like 10 or 15 episodes, and then Rachel's going to call and be like, wipe the schedule. We're doing Narcos from
every single episode of Narcos.
Every single one. That's our lives. That's
what, 30 episodes?
Yeah. Next 3 years, we're a Narcos podcast.
Get ready. We're talking Pablo Escobar.
Exactly. I mean, and speaking of great roles and Pedro Pascal, we've got some news this week.
Yes. Speaking of Pablo Escobar.
Segue. I thought it might be relevant. You know, I like to
it was a great segue.
So this week we have, or these past 2 weeks while we've been away, Pedro has been announced as part of the cast for not one but 2 upcoming productions, one of which he is the lead. Rachel, do you want to take us away on that?
Yeah. So late at night on like a Tuesday, I don't remember the exact date. Don't hold it against me. But it was announced. I think Catrina's going to get a date, but it wasn't
on the 10th of February.
I think that was a Tuesday.
Yes, it maybe was, perhaps.
It was a Tuesday. No, it was a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Point being, it was a random ass day in the middle of the week, and they waited until everyone was off of work and then put out into the world that Pedro Pascal was going to be playing Joel Miller in The Last of Us, the HBO series based on the very popular video game that I have tertiary knowledge of, because I have been trying to get a PlayStation for a year. I finally got a Switch, which was a hot mess trying to get because everyone is in quarantine and they said, time to get a Switch. And then they did the same thing with the PlayStations. And so I haven't played The Last of Us. I haven't played Miles Morales or the other Spider-Man game. And I haven't played Uncharted. I know, gamers, don't yell at me. I'm trying. But the point is, I am still very excited about The Last of Us because it is the guy who did Chernobyl. So it's going to be depressing.
Yes.
He's in it with little fiery, I'm gonna take out a giant dude. But I can't remember her Game of Thrones character's name. But I remember her just like Marmont.
Lyanna Mormont, yeah.
Yeah. I just remember her screaming when she like I guess spoilers for Game of Thrones again. Screaming when she dies. She's a badass. And she's in the show I'm watching, the book, the other HBO, the Historic Materials.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know she was in that. I have to actually sit down and watch that at some point because I have not made the time to do that. I did watch the other show she's in called The Worst Witch on Netflix, which is super adorable when you need like a little hit of serotonin. So definitely recommend that for the families.
Yeah, I think my one friend loves it. Someone talked to me about The Worst Witch. I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing that existed that people knew about. You like this game a lot.
Yeah, I am very, very excited for this particular role without spoiling anything, which means I can't say much. But because Rachel has no idea what happens in The Last of Us, and who am I to spoil her? Let's wait till she sees the movie.
I have very little knowledge because I did when I was writing this up. My friend Sophie, who I told you earlier, I'm going to either drag on here or just record her talking and play it here. But this is her favorite game, and so when I asked her, like, hey, can you give me some knowledge? Like, I'm writing about this. I'm gonna play it as soon as I get a PlayStation. I just need enough backing, and I'm gonna like put a note that I don't know that much. She gave me like a novel about this game, so I was like, oh, I'm good. I know what's going on.
That's how you know you've got a friend who will take care of you.
She was like, okay, you're going to know things then. And I was like, that's
Exactly.
okay, great.
That's good. Yeah, and honestly, this is once again a reluctant adoptive dad role, which goes extremely well with Pedro's current MO. So absolutely thrilled for him to lead The Last of Us.
That's a big ass deal.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. He's getting all these franchise deals. I'm loving it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I tweeted this, but my goal in life is for like, rest in peace to Captain Von Trapp, Christopher Plummer. But my goal is that the person who takes over as replacing bad men in things when they come out as bad men is Pedro Pascal. Because if you guys remember, Christopher Plummer took over for Kevin Spacey in some movie, and like I don't even remember if it made any sense. People didn't care. They were just like, replace all the bad men with Christopher Plummer. And so now I want Pedro Pascal to replace any bad man that is in something that needs replaced. I want him to be replaced by Pedro Pascal.
Yes, I love that. That's like, it's just the best way to like, change the vibe of the news around your movie. It's like, well, we've gotten rid of this horrible man and we've replaced him with Pedro Pascal. We love Pedro. Ah! So yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. And speaking of another movie he has joined the cast of recently is Judd Apatow's quarantine-inspired movie, The Bubble, which really this is what it took. This is what it would take for me to watch a quarantine-inspired movie. I've just said no to everything so far. I've been like, I don't need to be reminded of this. I'm in it. I am in my quarantine-inspired movie right now. But they put Pedro Pascal in it, so I'm gonna watch it.
That's like, I literally was about to say this is gonna make me finally have to watch something that has to do with quarantine. Because like there was that Songbird movie with KJ Apa, and I was like, no, I'm not watching this. And then like all of the episodes of TV where they either like solved COVID or are still, and I'm like, no, I don't care how you're like, just take me somewhere else.
Yeah, I need to be in
there. Well, and it's like, but then shows like Riverdale that like are set in 2021 now. Riverdale, sorry, everyone listening, if you haven't watched Riverdale, it's insane. But Riverdale had a time jump 7 years and is now set in 2021. So the whole show was in 2013. They have ignored COVID, I guess. Just existed in 2021, and I'm like,
yeah, a completely different, you know what? And I love that. I'm fine. I'm like super cool with TV shows that exist in our time, completely ignoring COVID. I don't need to know any more about it.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to reflect. It's fine. It's fine. We can suspend disbelief. It's okay.
I need a little fantasy.
But on that note, The Bubble, I will watch.
Yes. Yeah. They put Pedro Pascal in it.
You put Pedro Pascal in anything, and I'm gonna sit there.
It's gonna be Pedro Pascal, Karen Gillan, Keegan-Michael Key, Leslie Mann, of course, David Duchovny, and Peter Serafinowicz first.
And Maria Bakalova, who I love.
Yeah, from Borat.
Yes, but so from what I understand, it's a movie about actors who were working together who then got stuck in a hotel because of quarantine.
Oh.
That is what I understood.
And I assume for the stakes to be high in this movie, they would have to actually abide by quarantine rules as opposed to other people who have been caught in bubbles.
Yeah, I guess. Or it, oh my God, Iris Apatow is also in this movie. Love it.
Super fun.
Yeah, I think like that is what I understood. Yeah, it's a meta comedy, which I personally enjoy. I love a real meta approach to things. So I'm fine. I can't wait. It's going to be interesting. Well, sorry. Now that I think about it, so this is the second weird like meta movie that Pedro Pascal was filmed in quarantine, because the other movie is where Nicolas Cage plays Nicolas Cage and goes to a birthday party.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, what else is he doing? He's waiting for season 3 of The Mandalorian. So.
Well, and now the last. He's booked.
Mm-hmm.
Booked.
Booked and busy, and he was like antsy on his break, so he made more stuff.
I mean, listen. All I hope is that at some point he comes back to Broadway.
Oh, that would be so wonderful.
Do Shakespeare for me.
Yes, I'll fly your way. We'll go watch it together.
Listen, I want him to play Macbeth, and I want to be Lady Macbeth. That's all I want in this world, and I don't even care.
Oh, that's terrible. I love you. That's great.
All right.
Third piece of our news this week actually has to do with Pedro's sister. Lux Pascal came out this week in Ya Magazine, or not this week, last week in Ya Magazine. Lux is a Chilean actress who has starred in 3 movies over the past 2 years.
And Narcos. Bringing it back to Narcos.
Always back to Narcos. Yeah. Lux also made the choice to adapt the last name Pascal from the many family names that Pedro and Lux have. It's their maternal surname. So super cool stuff.
Yeah, and it was very sweet. I was so happy that day because there was so much love for her all over the internet, and I cried a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really, it takes a lot, especially like it takes a lot in like American culture alone to come out as transgender. And in Chilean cinema, like over the past few years, a lot of really bold moves have been made for trans representation. We've had, oh goodness, whoops, the actress's name just completely slipped my mind, and she won an Oscar a few years ago. But yeah, there's been it's kind of a big, very brave move still these days to come out in any culture. So it's really cool to see Lux and all the support for her.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was like a positive 2 weeks for Pedro and Pascal family news. So very good stuff all around. Yeah. All right. I think it's time for our main topic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Da, da, da. This week we chose something very easy. I think we'll get deeper over the next few weeks, and especially as we like line up guests and listen to your requests from home. Please do submit some. But this week we chose
from home. From home. If you submit and you're at a bar,
if you are out somewhere and you are not an essential worker, don't submit. I don't want to hear from you.
Unless you're from like Australia, then I expect you to respond in a bar because you guys can go to bars and it is safe and fine.
Let us live vicariously through you.
Yeah. You send me tips in Australia from bars. In America, you stay home unless you're an essential worker and you have to go.
So write in from home to us to let us know what kind of Pedro Pascal content you would like us to review. But this week we are talking about episode 1 of The Mandalorian. I should have gotten where's my kazoo?
I have a guitar. I should go get and be like. Wait, I'll do the. Wait, hold on. My Yoda does it.
What?
Yeah, I had to step on it all the time when I'm trying to clean.
Oh.
Disney, this is your doll. Don't arrest us.
Okay, we really
no, there's nothing happening. Woo, you can't hear it anymore. It's so fun.
No. Oh, there's all sorts of static and audio stuff.
Do you like my way of getting rid of it? Was going. I
love it.
My feet. You would think I don't have an improv comedy degree, which I technically do.
Oh my god, I love it. So the Mandalorian.
Oh, The Mandalorian.
It aired in November of 2019. How innocent we all were back then.
I
I,
was just having a birthday.
like it was just it was a wonderful old time back in November 2019.
Wait, wasn't it November 5th?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember because I was mad because it was so close to my birthday and was not my birthday.
Oh, oh my God, I'm so
My
sorry.
birthday's the
Your
8th.
birthday present. It was your the birthday present of your cycle, your month.
Yeah, it was like it's the Scorpio birthday gift. Congrats.
Exactly.
You guys get
Scorpio
the
show.
Mandalorian.
Go you guys. And like so it was announced almost exactly a year earlier on November 13th, 2018. I know this because I was sent several texts that day from like my friends and stuff. Am I sharing the right screen? Am I going to share my actual screen with you? Hold on. I'm going to try and pull up the tweet. Oh, I can. Okay, great. I can just pull a certain tab. Okay, there we go. So yeah, on the 13th, a bunch of my friends sent me texts announcing that Pedro Pascal had been announced as the lead for The Mandalorian. It was a wonderful, delightful time because we had such little information on the show back then that yeah, I'm just. It was very surreal for me because like I had already, you and I had both been Pedro fans for a while by then. And so to not only like have, the first thing in my head was like, oh, Chilean representation. And the second one was like, oh my God, Pedro Pascal is in a Star Wars. And oh man. Yeah. How did you feel that day?
Okay. I'm gonna be so honest, everyone listening.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard that The Mandalorian was a show that was happening, I assumed it was about Boba Fett. I have tweeted that I changed my tune about Boba Fett, but at the time, I was pissed because I knew I was gonna watch it anyway, but I did not want to watch a show about Boba Fett.
Fast forward.
And I'm gonna watch a show about Boba Fett.
I'm ready to watch a show about Boba Fett for sure.
Obviously, I was incorrect, but I'm a huge Jon Favreau fan. Literally, like if you look like right over my computer, I have a film strip of Swingers. Like I love Jon Favreau, so I was really excited because I love everything that he chooses to do. So I was just excited in general, and then I had no idea what the show was going to be, and I didn't really care. So it was really funny because right before the season aired, we had another girl who covered more of our Star Wars stuff, and I was more like our Marvel, even though like I'm a huge Marvel nerd. Like obviously, I have a Spider-Man tattoo on my wrist, but Star Wars is like my beat, and so it was funny. So she left. And then they didn't have anyone covering The Mandalorian. And I was like, does that mean I get to cover The Mandalorian? And they were like, you can watch it. And if it's a big deal, like write up some stuff. And so I slowly kept trying to like every week would write something. And then this time around, they were like, yeah, every Friday, wake up early, you're covering The Mandalorian. And I was like, hell yeah, I did it. I'm covering The Mandalorian, my favorite show on television.
Our tunes have changed. I also like it wasn't even so much like, oh, this is gonna be Boba Fett. It just felt more like this show might appeal to an audience that isn't necessarily me, which, there's so much Star Wars content that like that was fine with me. But boy, was I wrong. Oh my goodness, was I wrong. Like
when I read of it, I thought it was gonna be like, I don't know. I didn't know what I thought it was going to be. I remember, so I know you have stuff you want to talk about for before it even premiered. And I remember I was upset because they had a press conference in LA and we were invited and it was in person and like everyone was there for it. I think it's funny because I think Ash was the one who was moderating it. Ash.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which at the time I didn't know who she was. But now we're friends. But at the time I was like, oh, I I was supposed to go, but I don't live in LA. And so I sent my friend, and she like sent me a Funko from it and sent me pictures of Jon Favreau and Pedro Pascal and was like, this is for you. I was like, yeah, thanks, but I could have been in the room with them. I just wanted to look. I mean, listen, I've been in a room with Pedro Pascal. Granted, he was on stage, but I could function. I don't know if I could function in a room with Jon Favreau. I might die. But I was just very excited because I wanted to see what the hell it was. Even if it was like, because it felt like a Western from everything we had seen. So like, I enjoy Westerns, not to the extent where I like care that much. I'm like, oh, I'll watch a Western. That's fine. So I didn't know that if I was going to enjoy this that much. I thought it might be that's a Star Wars thing I watch every week, but not my thing. As we've previously stated, how wrong, wrong I was.
I love being wrong when it comes to Star Wars sometimes.
As my two Grogus beside me, my Din Djarin out in my living room next to Cobb Vanth, and like all of my t-shirts say, I was very wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it just like, you never know what to expect, I think, from Star Wars projects when they're first announced. People are really excited now for the High Republic, and there was just huge skepticism when that came out. And I think that's just like a pattern of our fandom where we're always worried about this thing that's very precious to us being like messed with in a way we might not like. And, 9.5 times out of 10, we come out really liking it. So yeah, it was good. And I remember, so before the show came out, at Celebration Chicago, there was an official panel to introduce like the main players of the cast, and it was so much fun to like. First off, Pedro was wearing like the coolest shirt ever that weekend. It was just like there's just this like, I don't know, every time he shows up for like some Mando press day or something like that, he's always wearing like a shirt with a really good print on it, and
I need to know, like, what's okay? Because does he pick? Is it his stylist who's like, you like patterns here? Like, I want to know where he got the pajamas that he wore during the Wonder Woman press. Would love a nice silk pajama set, but wasn't that okay? Question for you: was Celebration the one where he talked about how when they were offering him Mandalorian, he's like, what do you want me to audition for? Like, am I going to be the bug? And Jon Favreau was like, no, you're the Mandalorian. Like, but like he didn't expect to be the Mandalorian. Was that at Celebration or was that somewhere else?
I can't remember if that was Celebration specifically. I feel like it was that panel because it was, they did ask like, what was it like getting that first call and stuff. And yeah, I do want to say it's that one. Okay, so at the panel itself, he wore something slightly more muted. Let's go. I'm just gonna like try and get these uploaded real quick. Because the shirt he wore at Celebration was cool. But like
Pedro Pascal fashion.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. It's about Pedro Pascal. I mean, learn to live with it, right?
Yeah.
He had like this like nice like muted kind of outfit on, but he also had this like incredible shirt, which I am trying to get a good. I'm just gonna look for Celebration shirt. There we go. Boom. He did a couple of different like spots in this one. Like he did the Force Friday. Was it Force Friday or the whatever the merch distribution thing? He was wearing this shirt in that as well. There it is, uploaded.
That's the one. Yeah, he was playing with toys in that shirt. I remember that.
Yeah. This is he wore it at D23. That's why. Yeah, because they had like a feature at D23 and they had something here. And I remember, oh man, D23 was like heaven for me because like I remember Ming-Na being on stage with Jon Favreau and like having her part announced. Sorry, I'm going like way off of Pedro here. But like it was just
I will always talk about Ming-Na Wen. It is fine. Pittsburgh legend.
Yeah, it was an exciting time to be like a Star Wars fan who happened to like Pedro Pascal and Ming-Na Wen because they were both going to be in The Mandalorian, and like it's so wild to see how much, but not just like Pedro's character as the main has evolved, but also like Ming-Na Wen's Fennec Shan, who went from like this character that got killed in one episode to someone who is now in 3 different Star Wars shows.
Yeah, so like the cast when they were announcing it was crazy because all of a sudden it said Werner Herzog, and so now I am 2 years into The Mandalorian and have realized that 2 of my favorite television shows star Werner Herzog, which I never thought would come out of my mouth because he was in Parks and Recreation as a creepy guy who owned like a haunted house, and then now he wants to see the baby.
Yeah, he did certainly want to see the baby. And you know what? I think he deserves a comeback. Like maybe he just got out and we didn't know.
He's not really running real fast. He's like, I'm gone, I'm fine.
I'm out. Goodbye.
He goes to the Jedi school. He's like, I would like to see the baby. And they're like,
he's just one of the caretakers now at the Jedi school.
Yeah. Luke's like, yeah, this nice guy just rolled up. I said, sure, why not?
It's his redemption arc, you know? It's not complicated. Perfect for a man in Star Wars.
Kylo Ren kills him. By the time we get to The Force Awakens, Werner Herzog is murdered by Kylo Ren.
Yep, you know, that's at least he lived a really, really, really long life in that respect. You know, that would have been 15 years later? So
no, not even, maybe 8 or 10. Somewhere in there. I don't know. I try to figure out.
I think he was amazing in this show too. And it's just so much fun, like hearing Werner Herzog talk about Baby Yoda and like working on the show.
Okay, here's the problem. I wasn't sure if Werner Herzog thought that Baby Yoda, at the time Baby Yoda, he is now Grogu, but we called him Baby Yoda back then. If he thought that puppet was going to cause the robot uprising, or was the cutest thing known to me. Because every time someone asked him a question, he had a different response, which was like, yes, I love this puppet. I told Jon Favreau he would be a coward if he didn't use it, but I also think he's going to murder us. And I'm like,
you know, that's a rational relationship to have with AI, you know? Like,
yeah, he's like, you're so cute, but also you might kill me.
Yeah. I feel like there's a degree of respect in that, where it's like, oh, you're so adorable, but you can definitely kill me, and I'm going to notice that about you. You know, I'm going to give you props for that.
Yeah. Well, I try to figure out which scene it was, and I took a lamp for fire, but Pedro Pascal was talking about how he improvised with Grogu in a scene, and like the puppet was like, there was a fire and he was like, hey, don't get too close. And so whoever was controlling the puppet, like made Baby Yoda like put his hands up and back up. And so I thought I was in the Ahsoka episode and then rewatched it and was like, oh no, that's a lantern. That's not it's like a weird light. It's not a fire. Mm-hmm. And so then I was like, is it where they're like standing in front of like the meat getting cooked? And Baby Yoda's like, but I couldn't remember where it was. I still think it's hilarious that he's like, yeah, I improvised with a puppet and the puppet then reacted to me. And meanwhile, Werner Herzog is like, that puppet's going to lead the army that destroys us all.
I feel like Werner Herzog is kind of like the puppet's like supportive granddad in that respect.
Yeah, and then Pedro Pascal is his dad, who's like, look how cute my son is. Exactly. And Werner Herzog's like, yeah, but also that kid is evil.
I think, and there's like something so cool in like, I'm so glad that both of them get this opportunity to work with creature actors in that sense, like puppeteers and stuff, because I feel like that's a part of their acting careers that hasn't really been like, you know, no one's asked Werner Herzog to be on like a Muppets production yet.
Oh, but Disney, you already have him on your payroll.
Seriously, like I don't understand why he's not already being like signed on for the next like Muppets like season or something, you know, like.
Could you imagine Kermit the Frog?
If I were producing that new Muppet show, like I'd be like, well, why don't we have Werner Herzog on? Like, let's give him a segment with Gonzo.
Oh my God, Gonzo? Okay. Guys, yeah. I know this is off topic. We'll get back on topic. But my top 3 Muppets are Kermit, Fozzie Bear, and Gonzo. So if Werner Herzog had a conversation with Gonzo, I feel like I would just combust. Like, I've cried looking at, I watched a man use a puppet of Kermit and sing Rainbow Connection to a bar full of people, and I cried, and my friends thought I was going to lose my goddamn mind because I was trying to take a picture with Kermit, and the guy was like, you can't. And I was like, but what do you take him out of that bag? And I take a picture with Kermit the Frog. So, you put Werner Herzog in the Muppets?
Yes, yes, please.
I will give my soul to you. Because the mouse, I'll sell my soul to you. I've already basically done that, but...
Yeah. I really like that. There's just like there's a sort of magic in that. And yeah, no, very good choice on like puppets, on Muppets. Gonzo is definitely my top, followed by Grover, and Rolf. Big Rolf.
Rolf rules. But yes, so going back to
heading back to that. Also, Pedro Pascal needs to be in a Muppets production.
Make him talk to. Oh my god, I can think of so many fun Muppet bits.
So awesome! Like
I just watched the Rita Morena episode.
Oh yeah.
Well, because it's the first one that's on the Muppet Show on Disney Plus. Guys, I don't work for Disney, but maybe I should. But it was so good. I love the Muppets. I didn't realize how much I had retained that theme song until it started playing, and I was like, it's time to start the music, and I sang the whole thing.
Love it.
But I would cry. Let me write.
Honestly.
It would just be Pedro Pascal,
please. Like, I grew up with the Muppet Babies. I watched the Muppet Show on TGIF every night. Like, you know.
Well, they have a new one that's
the digital one. Yeah.
Wait, Pepe has the best part of that show because Pepe has a game show where he just doesn't win anyone.
It's like so ridiculous. Oh, I love that bit.
I was like, Pepe has ended up being one of the coolest moments. He's like, I don't care. We're doing this game show and none of it makes any sense.
Nothing matters. The point, they took everything about that one improv show. What is it? Where something and the points don't matter.
Whose line is it anyway?
Whose line is it anyway? Yes, yeah. They took that to like the next level with that segment. So yes, I don't understand why there can't be a segment with Werner Herzog and Gonzo just talking.
Philosophical conversations with Gonzo and Werner Herzog.
In front of a fireplace. Boom.
Maybe Fozzie Bear and Pedro Pascal saying jokes. This is my pitch from Muppet Show. And then bring Rita Morena back, just to bring Rita Morena back.
I don't know why, but that just reminded me of the Fozzie Bear interview with Seth Rogen from the new show, where like two kids showed up, and Seth was like, "Are these your kids?" And Fozzie never necessarily acknowledged that like those are his children. They were just these two kids that he suddenly had to take care of. So, okay, right. Back to Pedro Pascal and Mandalorian.
When the Mandalorian was announced.
Oh my god, that went somewhere. Yeah, honestly,
you know what we did? You know what happened?
What?
Oh my god, I'm trying to be good at this. We
went on a tangent. Oh. These graphics are coming in so handy. I'm so glad.
You guys witnessed in real time how bad I am at technology. I was like, wait, hold on.
This is Rachel's first time operating the switchboard like this. So honestly, I'm very proud of you. Very, very proud.
So much. We've been so distracted.
It's a good distraction. I've enjoyed it very much.
Well, sorry, I'll play it again. I have another tangent to go on before we get away from the Muppets. So
yes!
I was talking, as I was getting ready to record this podcast, I was talking to my roommate about the new Muppet movie where they're in Russia and Kermit has an evil twin who has a mole, and so then Kermit has to wear a mole. And I was trying to explain this movie, and then I just stopped and was like, but there's a story that Danny Trejo tells, and I like had an emotional reaction to Danny Trejo, and she was like, what? And I explained that when they were filming this movie, I think it was like his mother, someone died, and Davy Tran was really upset about it. And Kermit the Frog, I think, came and like talked to him, and he was saying how like emotionally like that like hit him because he was like, it was Kermit. And I was like, that's me. I cried because I'm like, where Kermit the Frog is real, even though I can see a man holding up a puppet. Sorry if anyone is listening to this and doesn't know the Muppets are not in fact real. In my brain, they're all real. I don't care if the person is holding Fozzie Bear in front of me and doing a voice and be like, that's Fozzie Bear.
Yeah.
He's saying it.
There's a certain amount of like belief and magic and immersion you have to have when it comes to like the Muppets or any characters. And I like to believe they're also very much real, you know?
Yeah, you know who else is real? Grogu.
Grogu, the baby.
Contract.
The baby Grogu, the baby Jesus Grogu.
Baby Jesus Grogu.
I'm sad that like living nativities are not a thing that I participate in along with religion anymore, because that was like the best part of being in a Baptist church, I guess I want to say, is the living nativity and how you get to play with baby animals all the time. And now I just like bring Grogu with me and make Grogu be baby Jesus.
Oh, listen. My grandmother, may she rest in peace. I love her with my whole heart. But if she was alive, I would have hands down made Grogu one of her like angels in her house, and I know for a fact she would have murdered me because she was very Catholic. Mm-hmm. And I would every Christmas be like, Jesus was born in the summer, and she would yell at me. So me and my brother would have hands down done some dumb shit with like Grogu dolls, and she would have, and again, my brother is 40 and I'll be 30, but we would have done like, what if we put baby Yoda on the top of the Christmas trees and grandma will notice? Like, shit like that. So like, I'm glad that baby Yoda was not a thing, which still
that just reminds me of how badly, like, I have some older aunties down in Chile, and I just like really want to put Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal on some prayer candles, maybe even Obi-Wan Kenobi, and see if they notice. Like, obviously that's Jesus and two saints, Thea. Like, you don't know their faces? Or do you not go to church?
Just like, I should ask my aunt Shelby. My great aunt Shelby is like almost 90. She just be like, this is my boyfriend. She's like,
I love it. That's how I'm going to show them.
He's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to my 95-year-old Aunt Sally. This is my boyfriend.
Aw, you know what? I'm sure it would make her day, though. You know, just let all your relatives know that like you're taken, so they get off like your ass.
Then my mom will roll in and be like, "That's the Mandalorian." Thanks, Ellis.
Oh my god! You know what I think we should segue into?
Actually, talking about the episode.
That too. I'd love to talk about the stunt doubles and learning the walk. I remember you brought that up.
Yes, because okay, I don't know if it's still on my Twitter account, or I know I have tweeted about this walk. But my favorite thing about the pilot, I have a couple of favorite things about the pilot, but my number one was I was full on convinced that Pedro Pascal was in the suit because of the walk. Like, mm-hmm. I was like, no, there's no way that's his walk. And then come to find out that, like, the reason he wasn't in the suit was because I saw him in King Lear. But they just all walk like him, and it is so good. And I know that's, like, part of their job. I get it. You're a stuntman. You're supposed to be that character, so you've got to kind of, like, embody what the actor's doing. But, like the walk, like, it's because some people, like, some people don't have a specific way they walk, but Pedro Pascal does. Like, it's like the way his I don't know. Pedro Pascal
he's got
move
air about him, you know?
Like, I'm trying to make this not as weird as possible. Pedro Pascal's hips move in a certain way so that when you're looking at him walking, you're like, okay, that is Pedro Pascal walking. Yeah, so it's the stunt doubles did a very good job of making me believe that Pedro Pascal was in the suit and walking. Yes. Is my point. And I hope that it was the least weird way of explaining that it's in his hips.
I think that like that it's such an important thing when it comes to like crafting Star Wars characters, that like little details like that are like when you think about how Ewan McGregor studied Sir Alec and the way he carried himself and even the way he spoke, you know.
And Han and Ben, when like truly, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like one of the very few things I enjoyed out of Rise of Skywalker was when Kylo Ren comes back to the light and is Ben Solo and straight up acts like Harrison Ford for the later part of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, he barely says anything, but it's very much like you can tell that this guy was raised by Han Solo and his uncle was Lando Calrissian. Like
when he just does the shrug, I was like, oh my God, it's Harrison Ford. He did Harrison Ford's shrug. Oh my God. And like those little details, like I think we take for granted when it's obviously an actor doing it. Mm-hmm. But like when we see someone else like either imitating it or you're like, you can't see their face and you're not positive it's that person, those little things really drive home character, but like also like just how much we all like pick up on this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, that walk, it's just
perfect. There's a music to it, and I do want to like shout out both of his stunt doubles, Lateef Crowder, who is an experienced stunt coordinator and performer who has worked on Wonder Woman, Captain America: Civil War, and Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. He practices jiu-jitsu. He's an Afro-Brazilian martial artist, and like definitely someone I think that like could model himself in that rhythmic way that I guess Pedro Pascal, you know, moves simply because of like his martial arts background. And then the other one is John Wayne's grandson, Brendan Wayne, who embodies that gunslinger swagger. And like all three of them make this one incredible character in this first season, especially. So very much want to recognize them for what they do.
Yeah, listen, their job isn't easy.
No.
You made a fully armored man hot.
Exactly.
Like, I know that is like not your end goal, but you did it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, who knew that a bunch of people on Twitter.com were going to roll out into The Mandalorian like, hey, this guy's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's wild just like thinking about all the artistry and collaboration that goes on in this show.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you know, Pedro, this is like his first, like obviously he's no stranger to a leading role. He led Narcos. He's been the highlight of so many shows, but this is also his first major voice role, I want to say. Like he's done some narration. He did a video game, but like this was the first time that he was put in a studio and like made to flex his acting muscles in voice work.
Listen, it's great. I can't put into words this show, which seems like a problem for me, but also like it's just so good. Mm-hmm. And not in a way that I'm like, yeah, I love all Star Wars. Clearly I don't. I just bitched about Rise of Skywalker. But like it's just like it reminded me of what I like about Star Wars, which is just we're telling this story, and also there are insane jokey things happening and you're laughing. Like obviously it's not in this episode, but like in the second episode where he's with the Jawas and he's like threatening the Jawas and Nick Nolte's like, stop threatening them. Go and get this egg. Like it's just like it perfectly embodies to me like what I enjoyed about Star Wars, which wasn't like, yeah, I liked the lore and I liked learning all about the Jedi and all that stuff, but I liked more like this humor that came along with like, yeah, we're in the middle of the stars fighting a fucking war against a man who breathes like it is like the calling out how absurd it is while honoring it is like what feels the most like Star Wars to me. So I really loved this pilot because it was just funny and good and brought the mystery that we needed and like it's
and
so
like,
good.
I think at every turn, especially with this show, it proves further and further that it's like a really good entryway into Star Wars. Like if you could not get, mom or dad to watch those movies, or you couldn't get your sibling or your friends into the movies, this is a really good way of introducing them to something that is like slightly different in theme, but that also keeps them very in the loop when it comes to what they need to know about the story. So I always wish that I could like, and I'm sure a lot of fans think this too, like I wish I could watch Star Wars over again and make it be like a new thing for me through a new fan's eyes. Because I would love to know what Star Wars looks like through the eyes of like, someone's mom who's watching The Mandalorian because like, Carl Weathers is in it, or like, like Pedro is in it and all kinds of stuff. So like it's such an interesting and different point of view that I'm so glad we get with that universe, because it's outside of Grogu and the cameo at the end, or the cameos in season 2, it's very much not about the Jedi. It's not even about like your average everyday people in the galaxy, which those stories have been and are being told. It's about this person who is part of this culture and this religion that we have heard so much about, but we've only spent a very small amount of time with. So I think it's so cool. I love Mandalorian.
I like that we keep ending our impassioned rants about why this is so good with, I just love The Mandalorian. It's so good. It's great. And it's like, yeah, our rants drove home that we're like, this is the greatest. The show rules. And then we're like, yeah, it's really nice. I have to be intellectual right now. This is my intellectual voice talking about how good this show is.
This is how our podcast goes when it's like high points, low IQ, high IQ, low IQ. Speaking of low IQ.
Oh, my himbo? Din Djarin, the himbo king of Mandalore.
Exactly.
Spoilers for the end of season 2.
Perfectly on brand, I think, with this show. We are talking about the himbo king. Like I think that it might be like worth noting that like this show really kicked off Pedro Pascal's dad era, in his career. Because from here, he's only gotten like really good dad roles, or like, he has played a dad or a stepdad or a father figure. And I've split his career up into 3 sections now, and you can help me like divvy this up if you want, or you folks at home can also help me divvy it up. I love saying you folks at home. It makes me so excited.
Hey, folks at home.
Our friends at home.
Why do I always sound like an old school like Italian New Yorker when I do that? I'm like, hey, folks at home. Use guys.
So, I love that.
Career.
Oh my goodness. All right. So the first part of Pedro Pascal's career is what I like to call the baby era. These are the 1990s, the early 2000s, where he's just like getting his smaller roles and like really building himself up, making all those connections in Hollywood that will one day pull through.
For those listening, not with our faces, well, this isn't our face. This is a picture of Pedro Pascal and Buffy. But if you're listening, this is a picture of Pedro Pascal when he shows up in Buffy. He's talking to Buffy Summers, an episode that I got to when I was watching it for the first time recently, looked up from my phone and yelled, Pedro, as if I knew him. And it was my good friend that I had no idea was at my house. But yes, it's a picture of him and Buffy where he is clean shaven and he plays, God, what was his character's name? His character becomes a vampire very quickly and then Buffy kills him. But like, what was his character? I don't even remember what his character's name was.
I don't know. I usually
like Paul.
have IMDb open during our episodes, but I have failed in doing that.
Hold on, I will look. It's I wanna say it's also I want to. I'm pretending like I know, and it's gonna be like George. I'm saying it's like Paul
because the character like comes up and basically like kind of semi flirts with Buffy.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't blame her. I would too. And then it's revealed that he's a vampire. And it's
Eddie. His name is Eddie. I was nowhere close.
Aw, that's my abuelo's name. That's so cute.
I'm out here like Paul, George.
You're just gonna name every Beatle until you get it. No, it was Beatle. No,
yeah, it's Eddie.
Era, I'm thinking, and then his roles started like kind of climbing up. And something about his roles that I noticed in this era of themes, which was like the 2010s, I want to say, is that he just had this like knack for dying. And that we had that in Game of Thrones.
The Red Viper of Dorne. See, okay, you said to add to him. This is crossover though. So when I say the Red Viper of Dorne, for those who don't know, I'm talking about the prince himself, Oberyn Martell. But I don't know what my dance I'm doing is, but I'm doing one. But he's also a daddy. Quite literally. He has like a bunch of fucking daughters on this show.
He was, that's right.
He has like a bunch of daughters.
Like leading into his DILF era.
Well, because he's a daddy who liked to fuck.
Exactly. And you know what? I respect that. And that, again, of course,
spoilers for Game of Thrones. Pedro Pascal's character, Oberyn Martell, liked to fuck.
A lot. All the time. As many as he can. And good for him, you know? Like,
yeah, you know what? Good for him. Oh,
no. Moving on. Dad era Pedro Pascal kind of kicked up a little bit in Dead era. Like every once in a while, he played a dad-like character or a character who was a dad, but it wasn't really the big deal of his character, I would say, until we got here.
God, and now it's been nonstop.
Nonstop. He's everybody's dad now. Like, I'm just. Have you checked to make sure he's not yours? Like, I need to.
No, that's me.
Gotta make a call and make sure he hasn't just like my dad hasn't been recast as Pedro Pascal because I wouldn't want that. It's been The Mandalorian. It was We Can Be Heroes. He's kind of like a father. Maxwell Lord is a dad, you know, like and The Last of Us, Joel is very much a reluctant adoptive dad to Ellie. So yeah, we are hot in the middle of dad era. Who knows what's going to happen next?
Oh, I hated that face I just made. Listen to that part in a podcast.
Close your eyes. You made that one face. What's that in the going back to Star Wars, the behind the scenes for Attack of the Clones, where like Hayden is walking toward like the lake scene and he like sticks out his tongue and like wiggles his eyebrows a little. That was the face. Yeah, that's the face that she made. It's fine. I've made that face several times and I felt like really ridiculous. I don't know why he did it because now I'm prone to doing it.
It doesn't it's never good when you stick your tongue, but I do it all the time. Like I'm like, nah, and then I regret it. It's instant regret and I do it all the fucking time.
It's okay. I don't judge you. I do it too.
But yeah, so we are in the daddy era.
We are hot in the middle of the dad era of Pedro Pascal, and I am just so happy to be here, you know, because it can go any way. You can have some wholesome family stories, you can have something heartbreaking, you know, and I'm pleased to be here. Just pleased. I wonder if he's going to be a dad in the bubble.
Can I live? Can you like not? I'm a young woman. But every time I see a kid, I'm like, I don't want children right now.
No, yeah,
I have too many things to do.
I have a friend who has like this perfect plan where it's like she, you know, children are great, but like she's going to wait till she like marries a DILF. Then they come with it.
I mean, I want to have kids,
package
but I'm
deal.
also like,
I would like to adopt more baby Yodas. I love.
I already got a bitch ass cat.
I know, I've got this guy over here, my human boy, cat son. So, anyway, let's move on from that.
We're talking about the episode of the Mandalorian that we watched.
I feel like I've seen this episode so many times. I'm so comfortable with it that I can like weave in and out of a conversation with it. And that's the problem, is that like we're running a professional podcast, Rachel.
We were like, anyways, let's talk about 20 other things. And then do you remember that episode of the Mandalorian? Anyways, but okay, so you wanted to talk about
Muppets.
You were very excited because the episode opens with two Chilean Americans.
Two Chilean American actors, Horatio Sanz and Pedro Pascal, which I think is like, it's so cool that like, I love this. This is so hilarious. They look so silly. So I've just thrown, for anybody listening, on the screen a screenshot from Pedro's Instagram stories around, this was like episode season 2 that he posted this one, and it says Chilean Chilenos, Mithril and the Mando, hashtag así es la way, hashtag viva Chile mierda, and he tagged Horatio Sanz and stuff like that. I love that I can just curse in Spanish and no one will flinch, except for our Spanish listeners. He'll be like, and so like it just felt like nice, like I'm Latinx, but I'm white, and so I'm always fighting and wanting more representation for people who don't look like me and stuff. And it never really, like, it doesn't hit you that you're on screen, or like the people from like where you're from are on screen until like it really happens. And it just felt like really nice to just watch two Chilean actors like lead the first solid 20 minutes of this show, like the majority of the dialogue, the majority of the characterization and interactions. And like, I just am so happy to see that in Star Wars. And I want to see so much more of that with so many more people. Cause it really, it made me very proud. So yeah, it was, and it's just like really cool just to know that like, like I know a lot of Chilenos over at Lucasfilm and stuff, like, there are a lot of Chilean fans. Like Star Wars is really big in South America, and so I hope that like other people were also just like, oh yeah, and I wasn't the only nerd. But yeah, it was a very, very cool. I love the way they bounce off of each other too. Like they have a very good chemistry, and I feel like people might have been annoyed that Mithril came back in season 2, but I was just really excited to see him pal around with Pedro some more.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip of that, I'm a comedy nerd, so I just was like, yeah, great, bring Horatio Sanz back. Like, I don't care.
Exactly, and we need to.
I love Horatio Sanz. I don't care if his character didn't need to come back. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
it's Star Wars.
Exactly. So you
guys brought Palpatine back for no fucking reason. We have Horatio Sanz come back.
Exactly. I feel like the gate was lifted when that whole story was put forth. So it's like, no, I want all my favorite characters back.
You're like, you brought back Palpatine for no fucking reason. Horatio Sanz can come back in season 2.
Exactly. And I thought that was a really good use of his character too. So it was cool to see him, and it's just so cool to see that kind of representation in the show. And meant a lot to me. Let's talk about lines of note. What's your favorite? You don't even. It doesn't have to be a Pedro line in this episode, because I don't believe yours was.
Yes, it is. It's a double.
Ooh.
Because my favorite part, I love IG-11. I think that is such a fun droid. He's like, I spin around, shoot things, and then I became a nanny. And I'm voiced by Taika Waititi. But I loved how IG-11 kept trying to self-destruct, and then it gets to the point where Mando is like, do not self-destruct. He's like yelling at him. And I just think it's such a fun setup, because the whole time this droid's like, all right, I'm going to self-destruct. All right, I'm going to self-destruct. All right, I'm going to self-destruct. And it's just like the way he said it, where he was just like, do not self-destruct. I was like, great, I need to hear that, so thank you. And it was my favorite line from this whole pilot.
There's so many Mando lines that I just want to like record, and like my old school brain is like, oh, I'm going to make a ringtone out of this.
Yeah, imagine I'm going to wake up every morning to, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. I'd be like, Hello?
That's motivation.
What?
I'll get up. Where are we going?
Good morning?
Hello. Yeah.
Hi?
I love that line so much. And it was just like the first line that we were really introduced to the Mandalorian with, because that's the clip that was that's one of the clips that was shown at the at Celebration. And so yeah. So amazing.
And I tried to look for it, and I didn't want to play a YouTube clip from someone else, but like I was also like the whole hit the voice and the quotes from Mando hit different when you know that Pedro Pascal's out here like it's kind of a bedroom voice. I'm like, sir. Sir.
Thank you for letting us know what your bedroom voice is like.
Sir. Well, I mean, okay, so my coworker, the reason she watched The Mandalorian was not because I talk about it all the fucking time, but because she saw the TikTok of the one cosplayer who I think his name's like Dank Djarin. Look him up on TikTok, he's great. But she saw the TikTok that was going around that was to the part where it's like the part of WAP.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't write the lyrics of WAP, but I'll sing them for you. It's where she's like, I want you to touch that little dingly thing that swings in the back of my throat. And it cuts to Din Djarin going, yeah? Good. Like, that was what sold her on watching The Mandalorian. Wait, you...
Oh,
that's what sold you?
Hey, you know, there are a lot of reasons that people are into this show, and I'm just here to let you guys know that you're valid. You know, if you're watching The Mandalorian because you're a little HOORNE, that's up to you. That's your priority.
I'm really good at spelling.
I put the 2 O's in there just in case. We've already like gotten close to copyright infringement in this episode. So. YouTube will be like, no, she said horny on the broadcast.
You should did it anyway.
Did it anyway. There you go.
Anyway, yes, that's my favorite line. So is your favorite line's the if I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I could. My voice is already raspy. I was like, I could every time I could either say things and it would sound like kind of fun, and by fun I mean sexy, I guess, or I would just be like, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. I'm the Mandalorian.
I want to dove over the whole episode with that now. I just want those clips. Oh my god. Rachel, we're going to have to create an Instagram reel now. Like DW Mandalorian as a California girl.
Yeah,
this is like the way.
This is the way. I'm not making fun of California girls. I am from Valencia.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. I'm not making fun.
We switched places. We switched coasts.
Well, I back and forth because I was born in Pittsburgh, moved to Valencia, and then came back. I'm like, I'm a hop along.
Aw, that's fun.
Well, yeah, except my accent's a hot mess. But yeah, I would be the Mandalorian. I would be Din Djarin as a Valley girl.
Yes. I love that. We're gonna have to make it now.
Good.
We're gonna have to make it now. I want we'll do that in IG-11. We'll have like a very strong Russian accent.
It was just gonna be like,
I have
to kill the child.
I must go. The orders were to kill the client on site. Oh my god.
I knew you could do it, kid.
Oh, what an episode. What an episode we chose.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about on this?
Closing thoughts. Let's see. Closing thoughts. I'm very excited for season 3. Season 2 was fun and stuff, but I feel like a lot of the focus was on getting Grogu to where he needed to go rather than like learning a little bit more about Mando. And that's fine. Like I accept that pacing. I accept that like season 2 needed to be a vehicle for new characters to weave in and out of. Mm-hmm. But I'm ready to get back to Mando stuff in season 3 because there's just Mandalorian history is like full of little like holes and gaps, and like, oh yeah, also there's a cult involved now, and this happened, and yeah, now there's like a guy who created like a dark saber out of nowhere, Yeah, so I would like more threads tied up, especially through Mando's eyes as a foundling. So hopefully we see more of that this season.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he like. I mean, I don't want this show to not be about him. Like, that was my fear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like there's no way that this show is gonna go away from Din. He's the king of Mandalore. Can't really.
The key title character.
He's the title character, and he's the king of Mandalore. But I do, now that he's like taken off his. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. But like now that he's taken off his helmet multiple times, what I hope for season 3. I like that we're talking about our hopes for season 3 as if we don't have what.
There's so many episodes.
17 episodes. Or whatever it is we're talking about. But I just like, I want him to go back, and the reason I'm thinking this is because in the pilot she's in it. That blacksmith lady, like all of them were sitting there lying to this kid his entire life, saying like, no, this is the Mandalorian way. But they're not lying, but they're not saying that there are different factions of the Mandalorian, because in their brain they are the one true Mandalorian. Whatever. I want Din to go back and like confront them and be like, you didn't tell me that this is not just the only Mandalorian way.
Yeah, and hopefully Armor is still alive to do that, because that was left, I would say, by Star Wars standards, she is still probably very much alive.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
When it's not clear and not like, when you do not see a body hit the floor and lose breath in Star Wars, you can be suspicious.
Like fucking Boba Fett is alive.
Boba Fett climbed out of a sarlacc. Darth Maul survived in the garbage as a 2-piece person. Palpatine cloned himself and like operated himself by crane.
No one's dead.
No one's dead. No one dies. Like when
except Han Solo with a hole in his heart.
Oh, he is super dead. Like but he was like intentionally dying. He was like, I'm good. Like, Han got to that point in his life. If I gotta go, I gotta go. Let's go. I'm on contract to die this movie.
You told me one movie, man.
One movie. Why'd you make me come back for another? He was doing his part. Yeah. I'm
That's so sad.
So sad.
My brother. I'm sorry. I will play the video myself. My brother. I'm playing the tangent video for those listening. My brother, because that just made me think of, my brother called me and he was like, hey, do you have anything signed by Carrie Fisher? And I was like, yeah, like the Princess Diarist. It was like the last time I saw her in person. She signed my book. He goes, oh, because I was watching Pawn Stars and they had sold a thing signed by her for $1,000. And I went, great. This is the book I'm saving if my house is burnt down. It's first. My cat is third. Like, I'm saving this book. I'm saving, like, some other thing. And then my cat. Like, I was like, that book is going nowhere. And he goes, but yeah, you can sell it. And I was like, that's not going anywhere. That's my Carrie Fisher book. And I love it with my whole heart.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No one would ever. I don't understand people who would let that go, except for like, charity or something, No,
but those are the people who don't care enough. They're just like, oh, it's probably worth money now she's dead. Versus like fans who are like, I'm never letting this go.
Oh, exactly. Every Carrie memory I have is very precious in my head. But yeah, I forgot what we were talking about when
we started talking about how the blacksmith and the other Mandalorian are not dead.
Yeah. So
we started talking about Han Solo and it went.
I am sure that a majority of those Mandalorians are dead, just because like the skulls and the armor and stuff like that. But I also believe that like she is very much not dead.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, we are going to see her back, hopefully, working on rebuilding or finding other Mandalorians. So we might see some Catrina, especially with the Darksaber now in the Mandalorian's care and Din's care. So,
talk about a hot scene. when he's fighting it
was great. I just love that scene. We're talking about a completely different episode now, but I just it's perfect. Like, I don't want him to ultimately have it forever. Like, he deserves a quiet life on a farm, not to be the, stressed out by being the king of Mandalore, but good for him also.
Yeah, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
The himbo king of Mandalore. Okay, wait. Are we rating this by shirts or?
I didn't prepare any of that, but I did prepare. At least we have images of these things, so it's darn near time for Stash of the Week.
Well, oh wait, what was my song? Stash, 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 the stash, 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 the stash. The stash on every slips is gonna be Pedro.
Very good.
Again, if someone makes that a song,
we need to actually have some kind of musician give us some backing music, and then you can just really shimmy it up.
All my Fosse training will come out.
I love it. Love it. Oh, all that middle school musical work. So there are 3 known mustaches in the Pedrolorian universe. And we are here to rate them, despite the fact that we are inevitably going to be talking about the Mandalorian again. So let's talk about which order we want to perceive this in. I feel like number 3, and you can disagree with me, has to be season 1, the final episode, because it's not entirely a mustache.
He's almost dying.
He's dying. He's super sweaty, covered in blood. There's a little hair you can see. It was there, now it's kind of cut into. It's just not a comfortable mustache. So I would put this in rank 3.
That was much. I mean, in season 2 it wasn't as bad, but that moment in season 1 was so funny because everyone online, myself included, we all knew who the Mandalorian was. But the mask came off and we all went, Pedro Pascal? We all didn't know. It said his name every episode and we were like, what? Him? But this, I agree. This is 3rd.
Yeah.
3rd.
Yeah.
For
so
sure.
That's our 3rd one. Our 2nd one, I am downloading right now. Hold on one sec. I feel like this is kind of a number 2nd place kind of deal because it's not really a mustache. He clearly shaved before. This is another finale look. Before this particular moment, there's some faint facial hair, but he was in a rush, dude. He had to go save his son. So
yeah, he truly
this whole look.
That whole scene, I just kill me. He took his face off and then baby Yoda touched his face.
I loved it so much. So of course I don't blame him for not having so much facial hair there. He didn't want to scare the kid or anything like that. So
he put his hand on his face. Same. I want to put my hand on his face. I'm just mumbling. I am so sorry.
This is a week or 2 Star Wars time-wise after our number 1 mustache. So we've already had our number 2, number 3. Here's our number 1.
Your brown eyes walked away. Anyway, that's all I can think of when this scene. God, hello. This is my favorite scene in all of Star Wars. The fact that he can't physically, he turns his entire body. It's so good. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much.
Yeah, this is, and it's easily the best as far as grooming and all of that goes. Very well kept. He's only just begun to lose his mind as far as missing Grogu goes. So he's not fully his face isn't all bloated with crying right now, and he's just really nervous and freaked out because he's naked.
Yeah, he turned.
So there we go. That's our number 1.
Number one stash in The Mandalorian.
Yes. So far. We'll see what happens.
For Pedro.
Yeah.
Because
For Pedro. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Our honorable mentions certainly go to Cobb Vanth for expert facial hair, as well as Carl Weathers for also having just expert hair in this whole, like, every time Grief Karga showed up, he just looked on point, you know? So great mustache.
Apollo Creed goes to space.
Exactly. You know, and he got the success he deserved. He's very rich now, and I'm very proud of him. He gets a school.
He's not dead.
Yeah,
his son, Michael B. Jordan, might show up later. Like,
I wouldn't complain.
If Michael B. Jordan showed up as Grief Karga's son, it's like, hello, yeah. The Creed universe and the Mandalorian are entwined.
Please, I would not complain. I think that's a fantastic idea. It's just like his son just shows up out of nowhere, and Grief is like, oh, I've got some grief with my son.
LOL.
Well, all right. I think I need to probably get to the end of our episode because I'm gonna get a lot stupider if I keep going. So
this has been fun, guys. I don't know about you, but we have been on a journey.
It's been quite the journey, and I'm so glad that we've been able to take it with all the hitches along the way. All right. We'll be back in like 2 weeks, maybe, I think so, to talk about another subject having to do with Pedro Pascal. But before we close up, I did want to put out a little shout. You know, if you have a favorite Pedro movie that or TV show or TV episode or something accessible to watch that we can cover and you really want to see us talk about it, hit up the comments section or leave us a message on whatever platform you're on, or at us on Twitter, and we'll put it in the list, because there's just so much content that we can cover, and I really am looking forward to that.
Yeah. What she said.
All right.
I'm so good at words.
We are obviously ending the episode now, but before we go, Rachel, I want to know where to find you and all your fabulous work.
You can follow me on on Twitter at Rachel Leishman, and on Instagram it's Rachel_Leishman. Tweet me pictures of Pedro Pascal or Pedro Pascal to slide into my DMs. You can. Oh no, I've lost it. You can also read my work at The Mary Sue, where most of the time I'm talking about superheroes, Star Wars, or Pedro Pascal movies, or Robert Downey Jr. movies. I have many layers. Catrina, where can the fine folk find you?
Well, you can look for me anywhere on the internet if you search for OHCatrina. That's O Catrina with a C. I host this great little podcast called Pascal Pod, and I also host another great little podcast called Y Tu Banta Tambien. I do lots of funny things on Twitter sometimes, maybe. So please do follow me there, and make sure that you follow the podcast. If you have not subscribed and you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. If you are not following us on your preferred platform, follow us if you'd like to know when our new episodes are. We're just happy to be here, so please do.
Yeah. And, subscribe, whatever they always say at the end of these videos.
Yeah. Hey, gamers.
Hey, YouTube. You want to see me play Dinda Jarin as a Valley girl?
Yes, I very much do. That's going to be our new video game, the Pascal Pod video game. And also make sure to follow us on Twitter at, what is it, Pod Pascal?
It's Pod Pascal everywhere, I believe. On Instagram, on the Twitters.
Yeah. Go ahead and give us a follow. We're going to be putting out some fun stuff that will hopefully make you smile. But until next time, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to be here and be leaving here and be back later. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Bye.